guys, it's BigJackFilms here, and welcome to this special episode of the King Kong reviews. This is part 2 of the video, so make sure you watch part 1 first. I really gotta update my technology. And as always, a big thank you to all of our sponsors on Patreon. If you guys want to go support the channel, just $1 or more will get you early access to all of our content as well as other special features. And of course, a big thank you to our first crossover special guest, Hewy Toonmore of Hewy's Animated Movie Reviews. If you guys want to go check him out, link down below to his YouTube channel as well as his Patreon. He could use your support in helping create more content, and we would appreciate it on our part given he started doing reviews even long before we did, and he was one of the biggest influences for us making our own review show. All of the links will be in the video description down below for your enjoyment. Thank you all so much for watching, and enjoy the show. The following is a fan-based video under fair use. King Kong, names, characters, and rights are all owned by RKO Pictures, Paramount Pictures, Studio Canal, Universal Pictures, Warner Brothers Pictures, Legendary Pictures, Turner Entertainment, and the Marian C. Cooper estate. Please support the official release. So now that we have our setting and characters, it's time to combine our efforts and come up with a plot synopsis for the story.
We open up in New York City circa 1933. It's the early years of the Great Depression, and much like the Peter Jackson remake, we see a montage of the time period, such as the bread lines, shanty towns, and many people who are out of work, with the only thing giving them any amount of happiness are the movies. For only the price of a dime, people can go to the cinemas and forget about their dreary lives and go on such incredible adventures without even leaving their seats. One movie in particular has people out in droves to see it. The latest natural drama jungle adventure starring newcomer Hollywood heartthrob Jack Driscoll. And posters for the movie with his face on it are plastered almost just about everywhere.
It's here where we are introduced to our leading lady, struggling wannabe actress Ann Duro, walking past super kitchens and clothing stores, broke and alone after being rejected from several job positions. At the same time, filmmaker Carl Denham leaves the screening of Jack's latest film and after signing a deal with the star to be in his next picture. The only thing he's missing, however, is a leading lady. Desperate and hungry, Ann steals an apple from a stand, only to be spotted by a policeman and is chased through the city crowd, stumbling into the filmmaker's path. Denham instantly sees the Hollywood quality in her eyes, pays for the stolen apple, and gives her a ride in his high-class car, where he offers her an escape from the Depression lifestyle and on the adventure of a lifetime.
They soon pull up at Hoboken Docks, where the tramp steamer, yes, says Wanderer,
going by the public domain novel route, I see,
is waiting to set sail, along with Englehorn, the ship's captain, its able crew, among them being the lovable cook Lumpy, and to Ann's shock and surprise, actor Jack Driscoll, whom she has a little bit of a crush on. Unfortunately, Ann soon discovers that Jack isn't as charming as he appears to be in his films. In fact, he's pretty full of himself. But during the sea voyage, Ann begins to notice Jack's bravado and Hollywood swagger are a little more than another role he's playing, and she begins to notice the good, honest man he is at heart.
During the voyage, Denham reveals the recently obtained map charting course to the mythical Skull Island, said to be the last undiscovered land in the world. Though stories and legends counter his claims and tell of a great mythical beast god called Kong, who rules the island and is feared by the natives who live there. As tensions aboard the ship begin to run high, the ship enters a fog bank and clears to the mysterious island overshadowed by a massive mountain in the shape of a humanoid skull.
Denham takes a scouting party along with Jack and Ann and lands on the island, where they soon discover a large native village built in front of a large stone wall with a wooden gate where a strange sort of ritual is taking place.
However, the party is caught and ambushed by the tribe, and all are tied up for the ritual. Captivated by Ann's blonde hair and almost alien beauty in comparison to their own women, the natives decide to offer her as a sacrifice to their mysterious deity. That evening, as Ann is tied to a sacrificial altar, everyone is forced to watch in awe and abject terror as the island god, Kong, revealed to be a giant ape-like creature, emerges from the jungle and steals Ann away from the massive wall, as Jack and Denham find means to escape the trap's bondage with a hidden knife in one of the sailor's pockets. As a second rescue party crashes the scene, the crew regroup and make a plan to to save Anne from the giant beast that has claimed her.
Along the way, the crew are shocked to discover a vast array of dinosaurs living on the island, such as some tree-grazing brontosaurs, being chased by a herd of horned dinosaurs like Triceratops or Chasmosaurus, unwillingly stumbling across a raptor pack's nesting ground, and even attracting the attention of a water creature like a plesiosaur or a mosasaur as they cross a swamp, all culminating with the infamous log scene where Kong shakes the majority of the crew off the log bridge and sends them falling to their deaths in the chasm below. All the while, Anne spends a lot of time with Kong and his giant squirrel companion, and while at first she is terrified of the massive towering ape, she soon discovers that Kong isn't the monster she first made him out to be, with him performing such acts as offering tropical food, fighting off and killing a bloodthirsty T-Rex who tries to eat her, tending to her wounds, and even giving her a beautiful flower only native to the island, culminating in a strong bond of friendship between the two.
Jack and Carl split off from the log chasm, agreeing to signal each other when Jack has Anne cleared from Kong. However, Denim seems more persistent in getting Kong instead of Anne, thinking a giant ape such as him would be worth more than any motion picture on screen. The encounter with Kong has left a daunting shadow on the torn director, and the most valuable asset has clouded his judgment to capture the enormous ape alive. As Jack treks after Kong, he realizes the kind of person he has been throughout both the voyage and his career, along with his true feelings he has developed for Anne, giving him more of a determination to save her. He does end up saving her, and the two race off from Kong's mountain lair back to the wall, where Kong pursues them, but is ambushed and falls into a trap set by Denim and his crew, who have since mutinied against Englehorn, except for Lumpy. Denim revels in Kong's capture, declaring himself a millionaire and promising to share his fortune with everyone, but Anne refuses. As the ship takes off carrying Kong on a raft made from the gates of the wall, the crew see the natives on the beachfront bowing to Kong's departure, sad and alone with no god to look up to. Seeing this and realizing her dream of becoming a star is now dead, Anne begins to cry as Jack comforts her.
We fade into weeks later as the name King Kong is up in lights on Broadway. Inside a large theater, Carl then presents his greatest discovery, locked up in chains to a terrified and amazed audience. However, Kong himself is quiet and looks very disheveled due to Denim probably torturing the poor beast to perform like an animal in a circus. Just then, to Denim's surprise, Anne and Jack come walking down the aisle and up to the stage, followed by a flock of policemen who are equally as shocked and stunned as the audience. They inform Denim that they have a warrant for his arrest for fraud documents and unlawful dangerous assembly. Enraged, Denim grabs Anne by the arm and snatches away one of the policeman's guns, holding it to her head and taking her hostage, yelling that he will not let them destroy his career.
Damn, dude, and I thought Denim in my remake was crazy!
Seeing Anne in danger, Kong goes into a rage, breaking his chains and grabbing Denim in his hand. Anne shouts for Kong to put him down to show everyone that he is not the monster Denim built him up to be. Kong does put him down, but unfortunately, one of the policemen shoots at him out of fear, causing Kong to grab Anne and escapes out into the streets of New York.
As Denim flees the scene, Jack chases after Kong, who seems spooked by the city's lights and people. Rather than going on a rampage like most other versions of the story, here Kong is more like a lost and frightened child, unfamiliar with his surroundings. After all, New York is a jungle he doesn't understand. Out of desperation, Kong jumps down into the streets outside the Central Park Zoo. In a quiet moment, Kong walks through the zoo, seeing all the different primates on display in their cages, including a lone gorilla, and for the giant ape's own satisfaction, for his smaller scale brothers, frees the animals from their cages and watches as they all retreat into the nightly park trees.
Ah, so you've watched FDV Productions video too, huh?
Hearing the incoming sirens, Kong carries Anne through the streets, finding sanctuary atop the Empire State Building. As Jack follows behind, a set of airplanes flies towards the Great Ape's tower, shooting at him with mounted machine guns. And in a surprise twist, one of the biplanes being flown by Denim himself, who has disguised himself as a pilot and hijacked one early on. Enraged by his ruined career, Denim does not shoot Kong, but instead shoots at Anne for revenge. Kong notices this and takes action to take out Denim's plane, swiping at its wings and sending Denim crashing in a ball of fire into the streets below. But unfortunately, the bullets have taken their toll on the massive beast, who lets himself fall from the building to his death in the city streets. Down below, Jack and Anne are devastated as they look upon Kong's dead body, surrounded by newspaper photographers taking pictures. In the crowd, Captain Englehorn, Lumpy the cook, and a few allied sailors look on in sadness. So the plane's got him, huh, Captain?
Hides. No, lad. 'Twas Beauty who killed the beast.
But the story isn't over just yet.
Wait, what?
Dude, chill.
Dude, if Kong lives, I swear to God!
Let me finish. No, Kong is indeed dead. But then we fade into over a year later as Jack and Anne are now happily married and with a baby on the way, living near Central Park as the two have since given up on their acting careers, along with the giant squirrel who clings to Anne's shoulders like a shawl. The scene ends with them standing in front of a large bronze statue of a mighty ape with a smaller statue of Anne standing just in front of him. A plaque underneath reads, "In memory of King Kong, the eighth wonder of the world. God, hero, friend." And then we roll credits.
Wow, that's actually a pretty decent plot.
Comes to show what happens when two minds think alike.
And with that comes something we're all too familiar with, the Oscar-baiting songs in the film's soundtrack.
Oscar baiting?
It was the 90s, Eisner and Katzenberg were all about that.
Can't argue there. So who would I have chosen to write the music and songs for the movie? Personally, if this was a Disney Renaissance movie, I think the obvious choice would be none other than the legendary Alan Menken, who had written the music and songs for such other Disney classics as The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Pocahontas, Hunchback, Hercules, and Tangled. Heck, his work on films like Newsies and even Captain America the First Avenger shows he has experience writing music reminiscent of the early 20th century.
Hey, I kinda love that idea, Huey. Alan's music and songs do have a very strong concept for Kong's story in itself, and combining all of his efforts would be fantastic. With the adventure of Aladdin, the love songs of Hunchback and Beauty and the Beast, and even the stories of exploration in Pocahontas. Although if it was the late 90s, Phil Collins would add some great additions.
However, Menken doesn't have to be the only choice, as he didn't do the music and songs for all the Disney Renaissance films. After all, The Lion King had Hans Zimmer, Mulan had Jerry Goldsmith, and Tarzan had Mark Mancina. So perhaps an established film composer could tackle the music for an animated Kong film instead. Question is, who?
Well, Jerry would be my ideal choice. Maybe not in the style of Mulan, but probably due to my love of the 1996 Peter Jackson attempt, I see a score on par with his works in The Mummy. Though Lebo M would be a nice addition to give it that Lion King or Mighty Joe Young vibe.
Personally, I'd go with the late James Horner, who had done the film scores to such classics as Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, An American Tail, The Land Before Time, Braveheart, and even Disney's remake of Mighty Joe Young. His film scores are notable for having a whimsical and adventurous tone with a real sense of tension and danger when the scene calls for it, but also manages to be lovely, melancholy, and tug at your heartstrings, and looking back could have pulled a massive injection of nostalgia for 90s kids.
The question is now where to place each song in the appropriate part of the story. Well, like most traditional Disney movies at the time of the Renaissance, there's normally 6 songs that each have their own themes and tone to the story. Those being the opening number, the hero ballad, the villain song, the comedy duo, the love piece, and the final act.
The opening number would have to be about life in Great Depression era New York. I imagine it being something like a more lighthearted version of Downtown from Little Shop of Horrors, but give it a more 1930s vaudeville-esque flavor, with people singing about how miserable everything is, but the one thing they look forward to are the movies.
That actually works! At first I was thinking of the song by Petulia Clark, but that works too. One thing Huey and I can agree on is a song for Carl Denham to perform prior to the Wanderer's Voyage, which, let's be honest, was the best song in The Mighty Kong and had some positive points.
Oh, what a luscious life you're leading, Lotus Lad!
Huh. Didn't know you liked that song too, Jack.
The Sherman Brothers did at least try on that one.
Anyway, I agree about the song for Carl. I could just imagine him singing it when he's convincing Anne to sign a picture contract with him, like a more upbeat version of Poor Unfortunate Souls from The Little Mermaid.
Okay, that actually sounds better than what the Sherman Brothers did. It's not necessarily a villain song, but it's more positive, enthusiastic, and much like the director himself as a character, trustworthy and approachable.
Like Gaston's Tavern song from Beauty and the Beast.
Actually, yeah, that's a perfect comparison. Gaston's song was a villain song, but one disguised as a song about optimism, giving the audience a false sense of security, and for Denham is a good smokescreen for his true and more selfish intentions. Jumping forward to after Kong captures Anne, and a pretty epic ritual track, is where the hero's ballad can come into play. At first I considered it as part of the Wanderer Voyage, but I actually was thinking of placing it in the rescue party marching into the jungles to save Anne. like a cross between A Girl Worth Fighting For from Mulan and Mine, Mine, Mine from Pocahontas, with the rescue party manning their guns and equipment, along with it being a dueling ballot between Jack and Denham on who leads the party, and can make for some fun comic banter between the two.
Not a bad idea, Jack. Now as for a song for Anne and Kong, I have two ideas. The first one is more of a song that plays in the background rather than by the characters themselves when Anne and Kong are interacting with each other, much like Can You Feel the Love Tonight from The Lion King or Strangers Like Me from Tarzan. Just a nice little song that goes on during a montage of Anne and Kong building their connection together in the depths of the jungle.
I was thinking the exact same goddamn thing, Huey. A mix of a more instrumental version of both songs, or if anything, being a solo song for Anne, because God, I don't know about Kong singing it. I get the Beauty and the Beast angle, but do we really need to see Kong sing something as whimsical like this?
She glanced this way, I thought I saw, and when we touched, didn't shudder at my paw. No, it can't be, I'll just ignore, but then she's never looked at me that way before.
Yeah, not seeing it. Though a female version of something like Strangers Like Me not only sounds like a breath of fresh air for a female character in a Disney movie, but also sounds kind of badass. We need more female rock tracks out there.
Tell me more, please show me something's familiar about these strangers like me.
Anyway, what's the second idea you had?
Well, we could have Jack singing while he's on his own looking for Anne, intercut with Anne singing while she is with Kong. I know it's not a Disney movie, but the closest thing I'd have to make a comparison with would be with the song Far Longer Than Forever from The Swan Princess.
Oh, so combine two love songs into one massive intercut ballad.
Yep.
That's honestly brilliant! Why the hell are we working for Disney right now?
Well, I'm just a floating ball of light at the moment. What's your excuse?
Well, to channel your genius, why don't we take a look at the songs for the natives? Though not really a lyricking tune, it would be more of a sad dirge they sing when they watch from their beach as Kong is being taken away. In a way, it would be kind of like the Mufasa funeral chant from the Lion King Broadway musical.
Huh. Well, as Lil Jon would put it,
You took the words right out of my mouth, DJ.
BJ, I like that. You know I do.
and speaking of which, there has to be a big Broadway showstopper for when Denham presents Kong in New York. Lights, showgirls, tap dancing, confetti, acrobats, the whole shebang. Think Be Our Guest, Prince Ali, and Topsy Turvy all rolled into one.
There are no visuals to describe such expansive and expensive awesomeness. Well, outside of that one couch gag in The Simpsons. Not gonna lie, I'd pay $20 in 1933 to see that. Hell, it'd give the actual Broadway musical a run for its money. Now the final track, to be honest, I don't think should be a song per se, given the amount of heart-pounding and fast-paced events in the third act. If anything, I see it more on par with the final track in The Lion King, but much more tragic, and yet heroic for Kong's sacrifice and heroism. Basically King of Pride Rock by Hans Zimmer mixed with the sad and somber track Brad Fiedel provided in Terminator 2. Sad, but optimistic, like the death of Kong brings the light away from the darkness of the Depression in New York.
Interesting concept, all things considered. Well, I don't really see a song for when the biplanes attack Kong. Maybe Anne sings a song to Kong to try and calm him down while he's wandering the streets. And we could have a reprisal of Kong and Anne's montage song on Skull Island when the married couple look upon Kong's statue at the end.
Ah, so the lullaby is a nod to the 1996 draft.
Yeah, exactly.
My friend, I like your style.
Hey, you're not so bad yourself.
While throwing down ideas and concepts is one thing, seeing a Renaissance or post-Renaissance Kong movie from the likes of Disney in an alternate timeline honestly has great promise. While today Disney is looking for new stories and tales to adapt in animation, it's interesting to see, despite only being around for almost 100 years, that King Kong has gone from a cinematic spectacle to a modern-day fairy tale. And with it comes a vast amount of possibilities to be retold in many different ways.
In my opinion, King Kong does have the potential to be done in animation. However, it takes the right team of writers, designers, and animated creators in order to do it proper. The Lana Film Company had a good idea, but failed due to cashing in on other movies at the time. But had Disney helmed the project with the same love and care for their other animated works, it would have been so much better, and, just maybe, a classic to even rival the original.
It's a shame Disney doesn't do hand-drawn animation anymore, and I think it's becoming a lost art because I feel Hollywood threw out the style way too damn early. You can have all the best computer power and technology available to make any world you imagine and reality on screen, but what's lost is the craft and handmade talents involved in each department. And from the writers, actors, directors, musical talents, and especially designers in the realms of drawing, animation, and paintings, there's so much more to explore in that style, and many tales as old as time to tell. And overall, if the studio returns to its roots someday, like they did on The Princess and the Frog, perhaps there's a chance for the tale of King Kong to grace the strokes of art that the great Walt Disney passed on to future creators.
Well, Jack, if people like Don Bluth can give hand-drawn animation a comeback in this day and age, then who knows? There might be hope for Disney just yet.
I couldn't agree more, Huey, and thanks for coming in on this episode. It was actually a lot of fun. Now, about your body.
Good question. I can either go looking for it by myself, or you can send me to another reviewer to try and help me.
Well, I tried to see if the reality breaker on my FDT would work on you as it did with 18, but unfortunately I need an actual physical form to work properly, so sending you to somebody else might be your only option. You got any ideas in mind?
Depends on if they'd want to do a review with a disembodied soul or not.
Well, the FDT can't make a body for you, but it can give you a lift on where you're heading. Send the coordinates to the machine downstairs and I'll have them power it up for you.
Wait, isn't your machine low on power?
The power supply is emptied by the amount of physical matter on the Traveler. Embodied beings take 0 power to transport, so there's no worries for you for both of us on that end.
Well, I might have an idea. Let's just hope this machine of yours works for me. Oh, hey, before I go, can I use your communicator real quick?
Yeah, sure. Let me patch it through.
Hello? Hey, it's me, Huey. Yeah, Hewy Toonmore of Huey's Anime Movie Reviews? No, I'm not dead. Look, I'll explain later. Right now, I need a favor. How long do you think it would take you to make a Disney Renaissance-era poster for an anime King Kong movie? Really? 5 seconds? Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, just send it over to BigJackFilms. Talk to you later.
It took forever.
Wait for it.
Holy crap, that's amazing!
Knew you'd like it. Just wanted to give you a visual representation of what the movie could have looked like. Anyway, I better get going. The quicker I find my body, the better. See you at the movies. Anime movies, that is. I hope. Well, if I don't make it, see you on the other side, Jack.
Good luck on your travels, my friend. And Godspeed! Well, guys, let me know your thoughts on an adaptation of King Kong by Disney in the comments section below. Is it an interesting concept? And what ideas would you want to see? Whatever they are, let me know. So until the next video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. This is Big Jack Films, signing off for now.
So let me get this straight. You want me to find some ancient magical glove that may or may not exist, just so you can use it to harness your own powers for your own needs?
Yeah, pretty much. It's very important that you find this gauntlet for us, Professor. They say it lies in an ancient temple somewhere in South America. The gauntlet is said to be guarded by many ancient traps in the temple itself. Not to mention the amount of depths in the jungles and dangers along the way.
Well, let me tell you something, kid. I've been around the block many times and dealt with a lot of crazy stuff. I've dealt with Nazis, Russians, and all that jazz. So, if what you tell me is true...
We'll double that.
Triple. Plus a bonus if we make it back.
I can afford anything, Professor. I can write all kinds of checks in this book.
For a kid, you can afford that?
And I have the deed to prove it.
This was no mere chance meeting. Was it, kid?
No. These are difficult and important times, Professor. That gauntlet needs to be found. I sense war is brewing in the darkness. And if that's the case, we need to be prepared for anything.
You make a fine deal. Tracking me down this long and this far. I'm in.
I have a crew and team set up for your expedition.
Looks like you guys got some company.
I could have sworn I wasn't being followed.
Well, kid. You've been through the faces of evil too many times to count. You gotta learn to shoot first.
You're quick, I'll give you that, Professor. So, do we have an accord?
When's the first flight and date?